Welcome to the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, your guide to motorsports sponsorship. Here's your host, Josh Weesey.
Welcome to the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, which is powered by 4-Wheel Parts. Today we have Evan Daudt on the show. He is a snowcross racer for Team LaVallee, and I'll be honest with you, this is a super fun interview. Lots of good stuff here, lots of laughter, but you're going to have to wait a couple minutes before you can enjoy the show, because I got a few things to talk to you about. First off, 4-Wheel Parts, they've got some pretty cool stuff going on right now. $500 off tires and wheels. Best Top for those Jeep fans out there like myself. They got some deals going on. They got 93 locations where you can get this stuff installed. If you're like me and you just can never find time to get stuff installed either, or if you do, it's in the middle of the night at stupid hours, and you're trying to get something put together, like, don't worry about that. They can install it. They can also finance it because this stuff gets expensive. I get it. But you can find out more by heading over to 4wheelparts.com. Just start browsing. I challenge you to not find something that you want. I challenge you to not find a deal, too. I already named off a couple of them, but here's just a few more. 20% off on Smitty Built product. 10% off on different bumpers. They got like an overstock selection. 25% off overstock selection, too. I don't know. Again, just go over there, start clicking around. Tell me if you don't get excited just from poking around on the website. But I got a few other things to tell you about outside of 4-Wheel Parts. I really need your help. I pleaded in the last episode, and I'm going to plead a little bit more in this one. If you could head over to iTunes and leave a rating and review, that would be awesome. I obviously prefer 5-star reviews, but yeah, you got to do what you feel is best. But essentially, iTunes changed a little bit recently, and yeah, we need some help getting these ratings back up, getting the downloads back up, getting the visibility back out there, and that's just one good way to do it. You could also share the show with your friends, let them know what's up. That's another very good option, but either way, that's my plea for today. We've got a couple of great episodes that we just did, and we've got some coming up, so we're going to be doing a live show here on our Facebook page to do kind of like a Vegas Torino recap. But our last episode took us through a bunch of cool folks from Vegas Reno that we did some live interviews. We had Jim Beaver on, Taylor Hyman, Brett Carpenter of Rigid Industries, Ryan Edwards of Raceline Wheels, Ben O'Connor from Impact Mastercraft Safety, Mike Kim from Fox, Vanessa from SolderWeld, and then Albert Sarabia from King Shocks. Lots of good stuff, so go check that out. And then I also want to shout out our amazing sponsors that make this show possible every single week. AMSOIL, they provide amazing lubrication products, and they're a company that runs on freedom. You can find out more at amsoil.com/rider. SolderWeld, they produce game-changing metal body technology, and they're ready to rescue your race. TopThePodium.com, they're experts in motorsports sponsorship and website creation. Bold Racing, they're a family desert UTV race team. And then Crash Addict Industries, they provide human protection and extreme racing products. I also want to shout out some of our other partners, MBRP, HMK USA, Studboy Traction, and High Octane Coffee. And speaking of High Octane Coffee, it is time to get into the marketing tune-up of the week. This segment features Joe Sylvester of High Octane Coffee, and he's going to give you a tidbit of sponsorship advice. You can find out more from him at Joe Sylvester 8 or at High Octane Coffee. And just so you know, if you've been listening to my last shows, it is Joe Sylvester 8, not Joe E. Sylvester 8. My bad on that one. I did that. I don't know how many shows I gave the wrong Instagram handle to get a hold of him, but Joe Sylvester 8. But here he is.
What's up, guys? Joe Sylvester here with your High Octane Coffee marketing tune-up of the day. Today I want to talk about your brand, your personal brand, and the type of fans that you have. Your fans, your followers on social media, those are the customers for your sponsors. So you need to think about companies and brands that align with your personality, your personal image, and your personal brand. Don't approach companies that you don't really using their product, you don't understand, or it doesn't fit with your image. Only approach companies that are going to align with not only your brand, but also your fans and your followers. If your fans are very, blue collar America, pickup trucks, cowboy boots, maybe a wine type of crowd isn't really going to be a good sponsor for you. That's going to be a different type of demographic. Same as, a flower shop for me. I'm a very abrasive personality. I have a certain type, of fans and followers on my social media. So I always try to work with brands and companies that align with my image and the people that associate with me.
Today I'm joined by our featured guest, Evan Daudt. Did I say that right? I never asked this question at the beginning of interviews. Daudt? Did I say that right? Daudt?
You did get it right. That's no doubt. Like, no doubt about it.
No doubt.
But
okay.
Honestly, it's very rare that anybody gets it right on the first shot.
You know what? I'm like 70% effective at guessing the pronunciation of people's names. 30% of the time I botch it, and when I botch it, I never get it right. Like, you might as well just give up on me. There's a guy that I work with, and I really, really, really have tried to get his name right, and I just can't. He basically told me, he's like, look, either get it right or just stop trying. So I stopped trying. I stopped trying.
Don't even say it.
I don't even say it anymore. But, well, hey, man, I'm excited to have you on the show. We were talking a little bit in the pre-interview, like, we both have been kind of, like, watching each other, like, oh, you going to come out one time? Maybe he'll ask me. Maybe I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen? And now it's happened.
It's about time. I mean, I've been waiting for a while, so.
You've been dreaming about it?
I kind of I figured since you were the host that the ball was kind of in your court,
That's
so
it.
I wasn't going to beg, I guess, but.
That's it. I do get a lot of, I don't know if a lot is the right term here, but I do get a decent amount of people reach out to me and want to be on the show, and I do keep a list of folks, but sometimes people reach out to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. So I just had somebody, I won't tell you who it is yet, because sometimes a lot of people agree to be on the show, and then they never actually, we never line up a time. That's like part of the funnel is, they agree to be on the show, and then they actually lock down a time, and then we actually record. Then I'm good. But this one guy reached out to me today, and he's a prominent off-road racer, and I was like, he's like, yeah, I think I could add some value to the show. I was like, heck yeah, you could. Like, let's do this,
Let's make it official.
Yeah, let's make this happen. Like, you know how I do it, too. I got the little automated scheduling tool link. Like, I send you the thing, and you sign up for the slot. And, yeah.
That's pretty fancy.
You like that?
I like that.
Yeah,
that was nice, honestly. I didn't know how we were going to go about it, but it was pretty streamlined.
So I'll just share this with people on the show here. I don't think we've really talked about it before. If you're doing any sort of podcast, or if you have to do interviews or just schedule any sort of meeting with somebody, there's this free online application called AcuityScheduling.com. It's ACUITY scheduling.com. There's an app for it. I can get it on my iPhone or my Android, or just normal web app, and it is awesome. Like, I set up these. I mean, it takes a little while to get it all streamlined the way you want it, but for people who have been on the show before, they know I've got this link. I give it to them, and they can go on there. They pick their time zone. They can go through all my available time slots, and they get this little informational blurb about the show and what they should expect. And it's it sends out meeting requests that you can save to your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you got on your phone. And I love it. Oh my gosh! Like, they should Acuity. If you all are listening, you should sponsor the show, because I feel like I could sell some of that.
I'll second that.
But either way, I love that tool. Either way, some people at first are like, why is this random dude that I met on Instagram DM sending me this link to some? It's probably like a virus or something, is what I think that they think. But hey,
oh, that's awesome.
Enough about me. Let's talk a little about you. So I want you to fill in some of the gaps from our kind of an intro there. I want to know more about you.
All right. So me, my name is Evan Daudt. I'm still impressed that you got Daudt right the first time with so many different things people have called it. But no, I race snowcross in the pro light class. I've been racing for, I should probably know this, 10 or 11 years, one of the two. Long time. And I raced on the ISOC national circuit, and it's been awesome. I mean, all growing up and everything, it was just my dream to race snowcross. My dad grew up in Longville, which I'm sure a lot of people know is where Levi also grew up. So I had a lot of influence from him, and just watching him race. We'd always go to Duluth every year, and we'd watch Levi, and it was just, I was hooked from the moment I saw it. It was snowcross was what I wanted to do, and now I'm pretty much living my dream right now, and it's going really well. I'm pumped on how everything's been going.
Awesome. And for people who are listening right now, if you've been living under a rock, or maybe if you're like an NHRA person, or if you're a UTV person, maybe you haven't heard of Levi LaVallee. But that's the team we're on, Team LaVallee. We've had Senior Smiley on here before. Do you know that? If I say Senior Smiley?
Oh yeah, that's Kyle.
Oh, I love that. That's what I remember most from that interview that I did with him. I was like, Senior Smiley. But either way, I had Zach Mason on. He's not on the team right now, but he was on the team in the past. All from Team LaVallee, so pretty cool stuff.
No, I think a lot of people have said one of the requirements to be on Team LaVallee is that you have to have the biggest smile that anybody's ever seen, and you can't stop smiling. You have to just keep smiling. I've heard that, honestly, a bunch of times. It's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. When I was at Heydays last year, which, by the way, are you going to Heydays this year?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, yeah, buddy. I'll be there.
Oh, yeah. All right, we'll have to meet up there in person.
Heck yeah. Are you going to be at like one of the Polaris booths or something, signing autographs?
Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully, usually that stuff all happens on Saturday, so
yeah.
I haven't gotten a schedule yet, but that's the plan.
All right, perfect. I'll be there on Saturday. I'm kind of doing something crazy. I get off work, and I'm in Michigan, Southwest Michigan. I get off work. I'm going to drive an hour home because I live an hour away from work, and then I'm going to drive. My brother's meeting me. He's coming from 2 hours away. He's meeting me at my house at like 4 or 5 p.m., and then we're going to drive. It's like 8.5 hours to our campsite, which is the only thing we could find in North Branch, Minnesota. We're gonna set the tent up, go to bed, wake up in the morning, and just pound out Heydays all day Saturday, and then drive back home 8.5 hours on Sunday. I'm excited.
Holy buckets! That sounds intense.
Yeah, I might grab me a Rockstar or something just to keep the blood flowing.
Probably better make it a Red Bull, huh?
Oh, that's right. I forgot who I was talking to, man. Hey, good one.
Come on.
You got me. Yeah, Rockstars are nasty. I won't do
nothing.
I did have a Rockstar shirt on. When was that? Last weekend? 2 weeks ago when I was at Vegas to Reno, and I was with the Scanlon Motorsports Group, and they used to be sponsored by Rockstar, and like a lot of their shirts and stuff have it, and I was like, yep, fully Rockstar today. But yeah, Red Bull. But
that's awesome.
Like you can't just stumble into Red Bull things. Like you got to know what you're doing to get some Red Bull stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're a pretty elite company, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got tons of Red Bull stuff because they've been sponsoring me for years. But like, whatever. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, right.
But actually, now that I referenced Senior Smiley, I should say his name's Kyle Pauline, and episode 72 was when he was on. I had to look up the number. When was Zach on? Wow, it's been a while.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to those.
Let's see. Zach was on episode 16.
Holy buckets. How long ago was that?
That was November. I don't have dates on my website, which is a pretty poor move on my part. But that was like January of 2017, maybe February of 2017.
Holy, how many podcasts did you say you had?
This is 177.
Holy, so you've been just cranking them out.
Yeah, it's been awesome. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. I actually want to know more about your background, though. Like, how'd you end up getting into motorsports? How'd you get into snowmobiling? And, what path did you take to get to where you're at today?
So, basically, my dad has always been the big snowmobiler. So, growing up, he got me a 120. Actually, it was me and my brother at the time. We got me and my brother a 120 when we were, I want to say 4 or so. So we were jacked. We got the 120 and it changed our lives.
Oh yeah.
So then we would burn around in the backyard of our house for a while, and then pretty soon me and my brother are twins, so we can't share anything. So it wasn't long before my parents got my brother a 120 of his own. So then me and him were duking it out, and we'd make little tracks on the ice and we'd race around, and that's like I think where the whole like itch to race and for competition, and that's where all that came from. And then I don't know, just kind of growing up, we were always building little jumps with our shovels, and we had at one point we had my dad take his plow truck out onto the ice and had him push up a bunch of jumps, and we pushed up this huge tabletop out on the ice. Okay. And we were pumped about it. We went out there the next morning and it was gone. Like it was literally so much weight on the ice that it was probably about 4 feet tall the day we made it, and it was 2 feet tall when we got back out there the next day. Yeah. So it like just disappeared, but that was pretty cool. And then so then kind of going as I grew up, I watched Levi and kind of started to know who Levi was when I was even younger, when I was about 6 or so. My mom said me and my brother used to scoot around on our little, it must have been even younger than that. Maybe even before we got 120s, we'd scoot around on our little toys or whatever that little kids have, and one of us would be Levi LaVallee, and the other one would be one of my other family friends who race snowcross. So I guess, I don't know, I've known about the racing thing for longer than I even thought I did. But then, so growing up when I was able to kind of know what snowcross was and we were able to go to races and stuff, that's when I started watching Levi, and I started really like begging my parents to race. It wasn't just like every once in a while asking them. It was, okay, this is the snowmobile we need. I knew where we needed to sign up, when all the races were, what kind of snowmobile I needed for the class that I needed to run. And finally, after talking to them, I don't know, it was years that I was begging them. I was at football practice, and they came to pick me up with a sled in the back of the truck. And that was like when I saw all my dreams coming true. Yeah. And that was a pretty cool moment there. That's awesome. And then, so I started out in the junior 10 to 13 class. Mm-hmm. And I had an IQ Shift 550 fan cooled sled. It was sweet. It was awesome. Like at the time, it was, because a lot of people were still running the Edge chassis. Oh, yep. So to have the IQ Shift, yeah, dude, I felt like I was such a baller going out there with my new sled. So I think I only raced the junior 10 to 13 class for 1 year. And in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, Lake Geneva is the last race they have in the series. And they have a showdown at sundown is what it's called. So it's the top three points people in each regional circuit. So I ended up getting invited to that. So, and then I ended up winning that. So that was like where I saw, okay, this might be something I am good at, and kind of fueled the fire a little bit. And then I started moving up. I moved up to the junior 14-15 class and did awesome in that. Then I moved up to junior 16-17, I think only a year after that. And I struggled a little bit, but things started to come around. And then after that, moved into sport, and I was in sport for about 4 years. Ended up having a really good sport year, my fourth year, and I was, I think I was 18 at the time. Okay. And had a really good year, moved up to Pro Light, and I've been in Pro Light for my rookie year in Pro Light. I ended up winning 2 finals, which was like, which is awesome, and doesn't happen that often. So, and then I've been in Pro Light this will be my 4th year in Pro Light. So hoping to move up to Pro here pretty soon. That's awesome. But then I guess I kind of skipped over. So I kind of got connected with Levi, I started working for Levi when I was 14 or 15. And that's kind of how we started getting connected, and then ended up being on the team when it was like midway through my sport, when I was in sport class. So I was probably 16 or so.
Okay.
And then it's just been a crazy ride on the team ever since then. Honestly, being with all those guys, with Levi and then Senior Smiley as we were talking, and then Zach and Jake Scott was on the team at one point. It's unreal. It's just like a comedy show whenever you're with all those guys.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
But that's like I don't know. I probably went on a little too long there, but
no, you're good, man.
That's the gist of the story.
No, you're telling me like about your Levi LaVallee, right? When you're younger, it's pretty cool that you're racing with him now. On his team. But I'll be honest with you, and he's been on the show too, but I was Blair Morgan. I had my Arctic Cat 370. I was like, dude, this is what Blair would ride if he was, 10 right now or 13. I don't know, whenever I had that. And I was like, this is the coolest thing on the planet. And then I got my ZR600. And I was like, watch out, guys. And that thing could ride wheelies like nothing. And then I was like, whoa, Blair, what's this Skidoo stuff?
Wrong direction.
What is this? And I couldn't change. I was like, no, man, you already broke me in on Arctic Cat. I can't switch.
Without me.
Yeah, go on without me. Like, see ya. And I've been riding cats ever since. Which I didn't even meet. Like, I don't actually have a brand loyalty. I really like all of the sleds. Now there was a couple of years there in like mid 2000s where I felt like they were all ugly. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, there was a point there.
I was like, every Yamaha looked like they smashed into a wall somehow, and the Arctic Cats all turned into like frog ducks. That's the best way I can describe them, as a frog duck. Skidoos weren't too bad at the time.
When they had the rev?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like the rev. So that was okay. And the Polaris had the Dragon and a couple other ones. Like, those are kind of cool, But I even owned, I owned the duck, the duck frog Arctic Cat. I had an 07 F1000 for 4 years. Super fast, awesome sled, but just I did not like the way it looked. I mean, it's just.
You were way committed to ride one of those babies.
Oh yeah, it was awesome, a lot of fun. Just unwieldy, just unwieldy power. And I had it done up. I mean, it was set up pretty nice. Just an animal. But now I've got a Arctic Cat 1100 Turbo, and the new Arctic Cats. I love the way they look. I love the way all of the new sleds look. Honestly, everybody's crushing it right now. But But this sled here is it's like a refined, elegant horsepower. I don't know how else to say it. It's just, you just crack the throttle. What am I going 100 mile an hour? What's going on here? I'm looking around when did this happen?
You get yourself into trouble pretty quick.
Oh yeah, real quick, and it's heavy. But I mean, it feels good around the trails. But if I get, a lot of guys let's go pound the pow, get sideways, get stuck a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I could do that a little bit. It's got it's a 137. I could get some backcountry riding in. But if I get stuck, we're leaving it till spring, because
right.
I know I'm not hauling this thing out of here.
All the pulling we can do, and it's not gonna budge it.
Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Let's go and rent one for me to ride for the rest of the weekend. But yeah,
dude, that's awesome.
Well, so who are some of your partners and sponsors that you're working with right now?
So, obviously, Team LaVallee and Polaris are two of the big ones, and then I've been with FXR for I think 5 or 6 years, and they're awesome, dude. Just as far as they've come from when I started with them to their gear and everything now is crazy, and they're awesome to work with. And then Walker Evans shocks, CNA Pro skis, Rock Speed FX, CTI knee braces, Sledders R Us, Shoei helmets, Woody's traction. dude, it's honestly, I got some of the best guys behind me, and it makes everything go so much smoother when racing, and then even just communicating and the relationships of it all it's so important when during racing to have people who have your back and to have products that you can count on. It's I'm pretty blessed to have such an awesome team behind me.
No, definitely, that is cool. And I just had the FXR brand manager for Moto on recently, Andy White. I don't think.
Oh, Andy, yeah.
Oh, you know Andy? Oh, he's a
yeah,
sharp
dude.
dude.
Andy's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Super smart. He was just on a couple episodes ago. He went through, like, you can tell he knows what he's doing. But yeah, he was on, and then really cool thing, and honestly, just I've been working with HMK for a couple years now, and they're awesome. I got HMK gear, and it's the best gear I've ever had. But I'll tell you one thing about FXR is they know how to make some good looking gear. It is just,
doesn't everybody looks so sharp out there?
Oh my gosh. And it's pretty popular in the Midwest, where I ride. Like, I do a lot of trail riding. FXR is popular. You see every now and then you'll catch some HMK. HMK is definitely more popular out west, and there's a lot of climb out here too. But yeah,
I think
FXR is blowing up.
FXR is they're super. They put so much energy into pushing their gear and the getting it out there with social media and everything, and then even just like all the different kinds of jackets, and even like the mono suit. I've seen tons of people out west who have the mono suit, and it's great. They have something for everybody. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Plus, they've had, like, I know at Heydays, them and Climb had some pretty cool setups. Like fun games and stuff. It was pretty neat. 509 had some good stuff too.
Where was it that had that? They had like a warped wall.
That was the Climb. Yeah.
That was the Climb one?
Yeah, which makes sense. Crazy. Like, if you just say the word Climb. For people who are like a desert racer listening right now, they're like, what are you talking about? But Climb is KLIM. But they've got this giant wall that you can climb. It's pretty cool. I hope they have that again.
That went right over my head.
Yeah.
I had to try it. I didn't even try it last year.
Well,
but it looked pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm 5'8", and I'm athletic kind of. But let's just say I'd probably embarrass myself. But hey, that's what it's there for. But you also said Sledders R Us, Thomas Affelt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've known him we kind of hooked up 2 years ago.
Okay.
He messaged me, and he's an awesome dude. Do you know him pretty well?
Yeah, he's been on the show twice. Episode 48 and 67.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he's been awesome just in terms of like support and helping me kind of grow my brand and yeah, like I said before, he's just a really down to earth, cool guy to work with.
Definitely. Well, good deal. Well, hey, we've got a lot in already, but we got a lot more to go. So I'm going to take a break right now. Thank the sponsors for this podcast, and then we'll hop back into the main event.
Hey guys, George Hamill here to talk about SolderWeld's new off-road repair kit. If you're a racer of any type or an off-road enthusiast like myself, you're going to want to take a close look at this product that bonds metal on the spot. SolderWeld has combined some of their most elite products into one small kit that fits perfectly under your seat or strapped to a roll cage and allows you to make some insane fixes anywhere you go. How many of us have been in a race or out on the trail and got a rock chip in a radiator or brake line? We have seen a top-tier desert race team at the 2019 Min 400 taken out by a simple rock to the radiator. If they had an off-road repair kit on board, they could have been back up and running in just minutes. The kit includes everything you need to work on dirty aluminum, stainless steel, copper, and many other metals. SolderWeld's cutting-edge technology allows you to make these fixes with extremely low heat and incredibly high tensile strength, leaving you a lasting fix every time. Don't be that guy broke down on the side of the trail. Get your off-road repair kit today, and your friends will thank you.
2 questions I get continuously about this show and about sponsorship is, do I need my own website and do I need a resume? The answer is, in my opinion, yes to both, and that's why we partner with TopThePodium.com. Now, if you want to see an example of what a professional website and what a professional resume looks like, you got to check out topthepodium.com. They did my website. The Sponsored Rider Club Podcast website is sponsoredriderclubpodcast.com. That was created by Jeff Vanestall of topthepodium.com. I think it's awesome. I get a lot of good feedback about it. And there's a number of other websites out there that Jeff has produced that are just phenomenal. So I think it's important in this world of social media where you have control of your content. That's what a website does. It gives you full control. We don't know what Facebook's going to do sometimes. We don't know what Instagram's going to do. We don't know what Twitter's going to do. So if we don't have that central location to direct people and house our content, there is some risk that we incur. So I strongly recommend getting a website, talking to topthepodium.com. And then the resume, again, is massive. And if you want to stand out, get it done professionally. And honestly, it is one of the best ways to step up your game and present yourself in the best way possible. Safety is our overriding priority. I hear it all the time, but I have to ask myself, is it though? Is that the first thing we think of? Is that the first thing you think of? Over the past couple of years, we've seen the performance of production UTVs increase, somewhere around 350%. That means these machines give us a lot more opportunity to have fun and win races, but it also, unfortunately, gives us new opportunities to crash. And that's why we have partnered with Crash Addict Industries. The owner, Travis Pointer, became very accustomed to crashing early in his career. He saw it as inevitable, and he set out to make the process safer. With a passion for racing, welding, and engineering, Crash Addict Industries now produces full cage and other protection systems intentionally designed to protect you during an accident on the track. They also offer a line of human protection products through their vendors. Do this for me at this point. If you're racing with a stock cage right now, please go check out CrashAddict.com and at least just see what they have to offer. Even if you choose to go with a different company, please make safety your overriding priority. When I stop to think about all the things that make motorsports awesome, I think of camaraderie, I think of speed, I think of friendship, and I also think of family. And it's hard to go through all of those elements without thinking of Bold Racing. Now, Bold Racing and Jimmy Moore, the owner, has been a long-time supporter of this show and Impact Fuel overall. Jimmy Moore is a desert racer that also has a ton of experience with suspension, UTV axles, and general go-fastness. I would love for you to head over to their Facebook page, Bold Racing, or their Instagram page, bold.racing, and just show them some love. Let them know that you support their race program and you want to see them continue to promote the amazing elements of motorsports. Let's talk about AMSOIL. Maybe you've seen them at Sturgis or the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross Series, maybe your local track. Maybe you heard about them on this show. They are all over the power sports world, and here is why they get it. They're a bunch of gearheads just like you and I. They're riders, they're racers, just like us. They're also chemists and engineers, which means they're good at making synthetic oil. That's what we want them to be good at. Their time at the track and on the streets, it gives them that first-hand knowledge of how tough equipment is on oil. Extreme heat, increased stress, high RPM riding, it all works against you and your ride to basically get you sidelined. But no worry, AMSOIL handcrafts synthetic lubricants that fight wear and resist extreme heat so that you can get the most power and best performance out of whatever it is that you ride. Visit amsoil.com/rider for more details and check out their full line of products for anything that you ride. All right, well, welcome back, everybody. We are now in the main event, and that's where we get into sponsorship tactics and strategies stuff. So we got a few questions here. I wanna kind of run past you, Evan. Let's start with the relationship building. You mentioned this earlier about how important it is in the sport, and I mean, honestly, we talk about it every single show. I've 177 times I've probably talked about relationship building in the sponsorship world, but I want to know from your standpoint, like a couple examples, where you made a connection with a sponsor, you built a relationship with a sponsor. How'd that go about? Maybe one or two of the people you work with.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with Rocks Speed Effects.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been working with those guys for a really long time, and granted I live in Longville. They're based out of Grand Rapids, so I only live about 45 minutes away from them. So we're basically like neighbors. But so kind of from the beginning, just the relationship. I didn't know any of them until I was sponsored. But
so about Rocks Speed Effects, I actually run those handguards on my sled too. I had to look it up and make sure that I had the brand name right. Because once you said it, I immediately started pulling it up. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is it. They make really good stuff. I mean, I've got the handguards on my sled, like I said, and I do the high speed trail riding, and it holds up really good. It keeps my hands pretty warm, and I mean,
oh yeah,
I get into some cold stuff, and it's good.
Yeah, in my beginning years of snowcross, I didn't have rocks to begin with. I had some, I don't know, a lot of them were just like plasticky and they'd bend and stuff. But then I started getting connected with rocks, and yeah, first of all, their product is awesome. And just for me, like the way I corner is kind of weird. I get down really low, so my arm bends over my handguards, and just kind of how flexible they are and stuff. But as far as the relationship with them goes, and like keeping relationship with them, it's for me, it's really been, I've been able to connect with them, and just about being personable and not really thinking of it as a sponsor. You know what I mean? Like I mean, yes, it's a business, but I'm here basically they're sponsoring me so that I'll get their name out there. And then they're helping me with this awesome product. So we're benefiting each other. And just kind of realizing that and then keeping it personal, I guess. Like I said before, not thinking of it as a business, but thinking of it as a relationship. And when you're talking to them, being open, being funny, not being afraid to crack a couple jokes and almost like your friends, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's been like the coolest thing about Rocks. Is I've really gotten to know a bunch of those guys, and it doesn't feel like a business partnership. It feels like they're my buddies. You know what I mean? Like I'd go out any day and go out riding sleds with them or hanging out, and I think that's one of the coolest things about my relationship with Rocks. And that's honestly how I think every sponsorship or partnership should be. If it gets, I don't know, if you can't talk to them as if they're your friend and as if and you can't be personable, then it's really, I think it's a lot harder to accomplish anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely advise people early on to keep your communications very professional. Like if you're making a connection and you're building that rapport. But I'll tell you what, with almost all of my sponsors, I get to the point where I'm like, a quick text or, a Facebook message or a DM or whatever it may be. Sometimes there's so many different forms of communication. I don't even know. Like I'll start a conversation on one platform and then finish it somewhere else, and I don't know what happened in between. But I think it's awesome when you get to that point.
Yeah, and I do have to agree with you. When you're starting out, like getting to know a sponsor, it is important to keep it professional, and especially when you are talking business. Like if you're trying to be serious, don't go cracking jokes and stuff like that. Like I guess there's a time for being professional, and then there also has to be a time for you to be friends. You know what I mean?
Well, how did you actually meet the folks at Rocks? How'd that happen?
Man, that was a long time ago. So I think when did I first? I think so. I reached out to them through email, like to initially start to get in contact with them.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's been times where I've gone and I've seen the facility where they make everything, and I've met with his name's Ryan, is the athlete manager, I suppose you could call him, and I've met with him a few times, and we chat a lot on email and even on the phone and stuff about just hunting and different sleds that we've gotten and where we're going riding and stuff like that. And I guess that's kind of where the relationship has really come from, is being able to talk about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps things more interesting too.
Yeah, definitely. What about another one of your partners that you connected with? Like, let's walk through that relationship.
Let's see. So I suppose we could go into Polaris. So
yeah,
the Polaris race director used to be Tom Senior. And when I met him when I was, right when I started in junior 10 to 13. So when I was 13 years old, I mean, I had absolutely no idea how to talk to any sponsor, much less the race director of Polaris.
Right.
But I think so. Basically, I talked to Senior every once in a while, like when my dad was there, just running into him and still clueless about what to do. And then before I even really figured out how to talk to sponsors, he retired, and his son, Tom Jr., is the new Polaris race director. And my relationship with Polaris, it definitely started a lot more professional.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when I was going through the ranks, I was like, my goal was to get sponsored by Polaris. Like, that was my dream sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought at that time, can't we ask them, like, what do I got to do to get sponsored by Polaris? Like, why won't they sponsor me? I thought, just being in love with the sled was enough to get sponsored by a huge company like that.
Yeah.
So, and then, I don't know, kind of going through the ranks, I realized with big companies like Polaris, it definitely does get to a point of it being a relationship and being friends with the people, but it's definitely, it's a business, and you can't, being a big company like that, they're relying on the people they sponsor to get their name out there. So they're not going to go to some 13-year-old kid like me, unless I'm blowing the doors off of everybody, every single race, and they're not going to go giving me a bunch of free snowmobiles and stuff like that, So I kind of learned moving up through the ranks that it is about results. Like if you're getting your name out there by winning, obviously, and then with another big factor that these companies pull in is social media. Like that is, it's crazy how huge that is, and it kind of blows my mind too that a lot of even the pros, their social media following is pretty dang small, which is kind of where you can see the pros who have a really small social media following but have a lot of big name sponsors are usually the pros who win a lot. And then the pros who have a lot of sponsors but don't win a lot usually have an awesome social media following. Yeah. Because in the end, big brands are looking for reach. Like how can this rider get our name to as many people as possible? And it's by being good or by knowing a lot of people that you can tell about how awesome the brand is. So growing up, I started going through the classes. I started to win more and just kind of act a little more professional. Like I wasn't a little kid anymore, obviously, as I went through. So I got more comfortable with going and talking to these people and specifically junior, like as I got more comfortable talking and going out to him, our relationship got a lot closer and then I started winning and that's where the sponsorship came. And then, since then, it's been awesome working with Tom Jr. and everybody at Polaris has been really cool and really helpful. And that then, like, once you're in and once you've got the sponsorship, it's the relationship part is so huge. Like, just being able to talk to those guys, and I don't know, I my whole career I've put a lot of emphasis on relationship, just with the sponsors. You got to make time and to talk to them and to let them know what you're doing and to find out what's been going on in the company and with your sponsors too is huge. So you're kept in the loop, and then of course making time to do the social media and tag my sponsors and make sure that they're getting the recognition they deserve too.
Mm-hmm. You know, I liked how you said the differences you see sometimes. The top racers might not have as strong of a social media following, and then vice versa. Maybe not the top racers have this really good social media following, but they both have really competitive and awesome sponsors. It's definitely something we talked about on the show before. Like, ideally you get them both, right? Ideally you're winning, You're on the podium every week, you're winning championships, you got a great social media following, you got it all, right? But it is hard to do both of those things. I think, and a lot of these shows, especially with people who have had, enough experience where they've lived in a world pre-social media and then post-social media, they're like, yeah, it used to be like you win and then you maybe like you'll get in a magazine or something, and it just happened naturally because they targeted the people who were winning. And like now, it's complicated. You win, but people might not know about it, unless you post it.
Right, that's exactly it. And honestly, one of my sponsors came up to me and they said this right to my face. They're like, we don't care how much you win. We care how many people you have follow. Well, I mean, obviously they care about us winning, but they said what's even more important to us is how many people you have seeing what you're doing and seeing you wearing our brand and basically you getting our name out there is more important than even the winning. And it doesn't seem right, but because it's like we're racing snowcross to win, and that seems like what the sponsors, what should be number one. But in social media, just how huge it is now, and how many, and that's how you reach people. Like, honestly, like you said, people aren't even going to see that we won or know that we won unless we post it on social media. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's crazy how much emphasis has been put on social media from sponsors, and like you just feel it too. Like, and it got to the point even for me, like, where it's like I don't even feel like what I did almost even is worth anything, or if it happened, unless it goes on social media. And it just kind of shows how huge it is and how important it is to post. And I don't know, it gets to be really tedious, like trying to post every single day and stuff like that. But it really is important, especially for the career that we're in,
Mm-hmm. That was a very good word there. You said tedious. Sometimes I just want to smash my phone, or my computer or whatever the heck I'm using, because I'm trying to tag something and I tag the wrong person or I tag the wrong company. I'm like, come on. And then I fat finger it and I got to delete it. And then there's some weird error thing and I got to start over. Or I try to post it and it's like uploading. And then it doesn't upload. And I do it again and then it uploads two of them. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Like,
it's endless.
Oh man, it's funny. My wife and kids will see me sometimes. I'm like, I got a time of night. I get the kids to bed. I usually do my podcast like 8:30 or so, like on Eastern time. 7:30 Central. And like right before that, I get down. I get all my posts out there, and my wife will sometimes be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm fine." And she's like, "But what's going on?" I was like, "I can't get this stupid tag. I just can't get it." It's just, what the heck,
dude. I hear ya.
Like,
some of them don't pop up sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like I know I follow this person and I know I've tagged them before, but it's like something just does not want this to happen right now. And I don't understand why.
Well, so I have a hard time with a couple of mine, and they've been with me for a long time. So AMSOIL, I've been tagging them in posts for 2 years or something, and I cannot, like, if I'm on Instagram sometimes, I'm trying to tag AMSOIL Inc. It's easy. AMSOIL Inc. There's no dashes, there's no spaces, there's no nothing, and it should be the first one that pops up, but I get like AMSOIL, like I get a lot of people create their own AMSOIL like accounts, because they're dealers, they're like personal dealers, and I'll get like Bob's AMSOIL and like AMSOIL UK and AMSOIL, like, no, stop. I tag one AMSOIL ever, like let me just tag them in this and move on with my life.
Dude, I feel your pain. There's one sponsor I forgot to mention before, Digital Ink. Does my graphics and stuff.
Yep.
Trying to tag them is almost impossible because there are so many digital. What's the name? Digital in the company name.
Yep.
I have to search, and it's like, oh my. And you think with how sophisticated Facebook and Instagram and everything are now, that once you do it a couple times, it should be the first thing that pops up.
I would think so.
But that's not the case.
So 4-Wheel Parts has been my title sponsor since May for the show, May of 2018. And for people listening, it's end of August of 2019. Wow. It's August 2019 right now. So not that long, but there's a whole bunch of 4-Wheel Parts out there too, because individual store owners, there's 93 stores in the United States, so a lot of the individual store owners create their own account. I can get 4-Wheel Parts official like all the time, like easy. AMSOIL? No, I can't get AMSOIL. I don't know why. Oh, and then there's this other one, Crash Act Industries. So Travis Pointer, he's been on the show a couple times too. There's somebody out there that has the name Crash. It's actually kind of cool. I like all of her pictures. She's a motocross racer. And like her tag is Crash. I tag her on accident constantly when I'm trying to get Crash Addict. I don't think I've ever actually like followed through on a post with tagging her, but that's how I found her account, was that way. And I'm like, yeah, well,
I love it.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, she does motocross. Like, this is cool. I'll just follow her anyways. But yeah, I have trouble with that. But
that's pretty funny.
Whew, that was a rant. That was an absolute rant there for a minute.
I hope everything I said flowed well and made sense.
Oh, that made so much sense. It was ridiculous.
Good.
Well, so we kind of already hit on social media. That was actually something I was going to talk about a little bit, but I guess we'll go just one step further with it. Do you have like a strategy? I mean, do you think about ahead of time what you're going to post, or, some people get, I know, a week out, 2 weeks out. Do you have a strategy?
I think I honestly think way too much when I post, because that's the hardest thing. I try not to think as much as possible when I post, because otherwise it takes me 45 minutes to get one post out. And it's like, okay, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
But no, like usually, I try to post. I mean, the goal would be once every single day, and just I used to think like, okay, it's gotta be something snowcross related, and it's got to be something all my followers are definitely going to like, you know what I mean? It's got to be something that's proven itself before. But in the end, I've kind of realized that it's just about getting the content out there, because I think even now they got all these filtration things. So if you don't post like regularly, then a lot of people don't even see what you post.
Oh yeah.
So one of my biggest things has been just post as much as you can so that it gets on the feed so people actually see it.
Right.
So even if it, like, I try to mix it up, obviously. Like, I'll try not to do like 10 snowcross posts in a row, because that can get kind of old. But like, mix it up, and just I try to make it as personal as I can, like showing things that are happening in my life and different things like that. But obviously, always the snowcross stuff has got to be mixed in, because that's what the majority of my followers follow me for. And it's crazy how I see a huge difference in likes and everything with snowcross posts as opposed to anything other than snowcross. You know what I mean?
I was actually just looking up. I pulled up your profile, and in the first like couple things, the biggest post that you got, the most popular one was when you got. It looks like your sled sitting in front of. Where's this at? Maybe a church? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Dude, that was awesome. That was I used to go to that church, and they asked me if I'd come and do a presentation about snowcross and like how it's played a role in my faith and everything like that. And that was like a huge opportunity for me because my faith is really important in my life, and my goal in the end is that I really want to let people know how awesome Jesus is in the snowcross community, and that was just a huge win for me to be able to go and kind of share my story and the faith side of it. So yeah, I was pumped how well that did, because I honestly didn't know how that would go over on social media, but it was awesome.
No, that was pretty good. And I think it was just kind of unique. I know when I was scrolling through it, just trying to flip through quickly, I saw that immediately. I was like, oh, that's a little different, so that's cool stuff. No, I feel your pain too with the like trying too hard. So I also have a I may have actually been So you now have several likes from my Jeep account. But I've got like an account for my Jeep, because everybody who owns a Jeep has to like have their own special account just for the Jeep, or at least maybe that's some rule that I just made up in my head. But mine's called Destination JLU, and I'll take this like amazing picture, and just think it's the coolest thing on the planet, like it's the perfect angle and all super Instagrammy, and I'll post it up and it sucks. Like it'll just bomb. And then like this I'm pulling up this video. I mean, it's not that great, but it's like 600 views or something, which for my account that's pretty good. I was driving on the road and I saw this big banana car driving. I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a video of that, and then everybody loves that. It's a banana just driving on the road.
Isn't that depressing?
I mean, it was just random.
Like, you work so hard on getting these awesome pictures of like the Jeep, like you said, and this stupid banana is what takes the cake. I will forever be confused about how that works.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
The same thing happens to me all the time. I'll like spend all this time getting this sweet shot, or someone will take this sick picture of me and I'll have this awesome caption. And when I get like 4 likes in an hour, it's like, is nobody seeing this? Do you not understand how awesome this is?
Right.
It's really, I do not understand. I don't think I ever will.
Right. No, I don't get it. But I definitely, like, my goal in life is to get to a point where somebody else can take care of my social media. I like taking the pictures and I like getting the content, and obviously I'm a content creator too with the show. I like that part. But if someone else could do it for me, oh my gosh! Yeah. Then I could like yell at them when they don't do it right. I'm like, you can't get this right. That'd be awesome.
What kind of caption was that?
Yeah, what were you thinking? You only got 5% engagement. Wow, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, you're fired.
Exactly.
I just got married, and I've her name's Alyssa, and I've had her do some posts for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, having somebody run your social media is all about, like, you got to let go of so much control.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, spending 45 minutes on trying to think of a caption is like, and then having somebody else do it and think of their own caption is it's nice because I don't have to do it anymore. But just realizing that other people can do good captions too. It's not just about what comes perfectly in your head, and that maybe even the caption doesn't matter as much. But dude, you gotta let loose of so much control to have somebody else run your social media.
Oh yeah, I think I'm almost there. You know what I honestly should give up control of though is my editing for my podcast. It's definitely the most the time consuming part, and I mean I really like doing the interviews. Editing is just for me. It doesn't align with all my strengths because I'm sitting in front of a computer clicking buttons and but I can't.
Yeah.
I've looked it up and it's not really affordable, so that's my current good excuse. But it's I don't know if I can give it up. Like I just in the moment I'm like, okay, that's what I want. I want that. No, I want to splice that. No, I want to do that. No, I want to tweak that. No, I want background music here. And I don't feel like I'm ready to give that control up. But if someone wants to do it for free, I will try giving up the control. So if people want to do it for free, and also if they can do it good, then hit me up, Josh at Sponsored Radical Podcast.
Yeah, that's a big factor. Do it good. Yeah. I could maybe do it for you for free, but you might lose a lot of viewers.
It's I've done some minor video editing, and I've been doing the podcast stuff obviously for a while now, and wow, the video stuff is so much harder. At least I think so. Just everything about it.
Editing?
Yeah, like I can cover up a lot of stuff in with just audio. Like if right now if there's a dog barking in the background while you're not saying anything, like I could take that out and without even blinking. There's not a dog barking in the background, but or maybe there is, and nobody will ever know.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty loud.
But that's super easy. But I tell you what, when you get into the videos, you're like, well, I want to take. I mean, you could take a lot out, but I don't know. I'm just not there. It's so hard.
Yeah.
So hats off to people who are video producers. You're impressive.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, then even just because you got to match the sound with the video and everything, don't you?
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea how any of that works, so I shouldn't even add my 2 cents.
No, that's essentially it. Like everything that you think should be easy is hard. And the vision versus reality is always so different. At least for me, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna splice this, I'm gonna do that, and like in my head it looks sweet, and then I play a little feedback, like, oh no,
wow,
oh that's not at all, that's not at all what I expected. But I will tell you, I've been pretty proud of myself. I made a little video this past weekend. I went up north with my family. Went on a little boat ride, and I got a new GoPro Hero 7, which is awesome, by the way.
Really?
Oh my gosh, the new GoPros are so good.
The last GoPro I got was just the regular session.
Oh,
so
okay.
I imagine the 7's way better.
Oh, it's just good. I mean, it's stable. It's just amazing image. I got a decent little editing software now, and it's. Either way, I got just this good footage. But I was like, oh, but I could be better. I was like, oh, that right there, that'd have been better with a gimbal. So I ordered a gimbal. The handheld gimbal. I'm like, okay, now.
Oh yeah.
Now I gotta actually start making good content if I got all this money invested in this silly stuff. But,
dude, those gimbals work so nice.
Yeah, they are awesome, and I'm excited. I've never actually had one. But I've seen people use them, and I know that like it's legit.
Oh yeah, Levi's got all sorts of those gimbals and stuff for his. He does that YouTube thing now.
Yeah.
So he's got all sorts of sweet cameras, and like we were using it one time, and like riding a dirt bike, like if you're holding onto it, it's so smooth. Just even walking around, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna use mine for, is just some more walking around shots, and getting on a sled or getting in a Jeep or whatever it is a little smoother.
Yeah.
I did this thing, and I was running next to my youngest son, and I was getting some good images of it, but still it was really stable, but it wasn't level. You know what I mean? Like that's what I was missing, was I wanted a level shot, but every time I'd run it just twist a little bit,
Will yours do that if you put the right settings in or something?
You know what? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. But it will pretty soon, because with Amazon Prime, I ordered it this morning. It'll be here tomorrow. My gimbal will. So, too bad I got to work.
Oh, you haven't got your gimbal yet?
No, I don't have it yet. I get it. I just ordered it. I just ordered it.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
okay,
so I'm excited.
That'll be sweet.
Yeah,
that'll take your shooting to like the next level. It's so awesome.
now like there's expectations of doing better. But that's good. Well, hey, you know what? Speaking of expectations of doing better, I have high expectations of you for this next and final question. And that is the one that we talked about in the pre-interview, where you're like, man, if I wouldn't have read this one, I'd have been stumped.
Yeah.
So one question in the lightning round here: if you could sponsor anyone in the world, who would you choose and why?
Oh my gosh! And I'm even second guessing. I don't
That's
know.
it. That's where the question.
So
that's the beauty of this question.
Does it have to be somebody who's already like a established racer or anything?
No. Nope.
Okay. So there's this one. He's actually my buddy. His name is Dakota.
Okay.
Dakota Likens, and he started racing dirt bike. So I took him to his first race last year.
Okay.
He started racing dirt bike, and he has been honest. First of all, he's naturally extremely talented on a dirt bike. It's crazy. Like he's probably got half as much time on a dirt bike as I do, and I'm a little nervous that he's catching me. And he's riding all the time. He's so dedicated, and he's a super cool kid. And I think just with like the talent that he's got and with how motivated he is, and he doesn't look at riding and racing like it never gets old. He would literally ride all day, every day, and just love every second of it. And I think even motorsports and racers now need a little more of that attitude. Like you can't, even though it is your job, you can't look at it as if it's your job. You gotta realize that it's not going to last forever, and this is a pretty cool thing, and just love every second of it. So I admire that a lot in Dakota, and I think if he did, I think if I could sponsor him and give him a boost to keep going and to kind of get to the next level, I think I'd love to do that for him. I don't know how I would, but if I could, I totally would. And I think he'd just run away with it, and he'd be a really cool kid to watch, and he'd push it.
No, that's awesome.
So that's who I would sponsor.
I am now following him on Instagram. Dakota Likens.
Did you find him?
Yeah, I found him. No problem. DAKOTALIKENS 39.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's it.
And he doesn't do any big, like he does district stuff around Minnesota, but even just like he's always asking me like, dude, how can I get these guys to sponsor me? What do I got to do? You know, and I'm like, dude, just keep racing, keep going fast and winning stuff, and just keep getting your name out there. And I don't know, he's a really good buddy of mine, and I just like what he's all about.
And you know what you should tell him next time he asks that? Say, hey, go to iTunes, download 177 episodes of the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, leave a 5-star rating and review.
You got it.
And then listen to all of them, and you'll be good. You'll have sponsorship on a jet ski. You'll have sponsorship in a Jeep. You'll be set. Just
no
like
kidding.
That. That's it.
That's all the information you could ever want.
That's it. Well, cool.
Especially the 197th episode.
That's it. Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, anybody listening right now, go ahead and just you can even pause this interview, download the rest of them, go ahead and leave that rating review. I prefer 5 stars, but hey, you can put whatever you want. But I'm just telling you, I prefer and recommend 5 stars.
Me too.
But yeah, well, hey, speaking of 5 stars, it's time to wrap up. No, that was not a transition at all. That was horrible. But it is time to wrap up at the finish line here. What's something that you recommend? Like, if people forgot everything else we talked about today and just remembered one thing, what would that one thing be?
All right. So the one thing, in terms of sponsors and stuff like that, just be yourself. Go talking to people. Like, it's a business, and there's times when you got to be professional. But try to connect with them on like as if you're their friend, and just be like I said, be yourself. And don't ever stop loving the sport and what you're doing, and just have fun with it.
Yeah, certainly. That's the most common feedback on the show. Be yourself, be genuine, be authentic. So for people listening right now, after you download all 177 episodes, go but check me on that. Go to the last question that I asked. It says, what's one thing we should take away? And then write down, tally it all up. Guaranteed that's your number one response. Right there. Well, hey, Evan, what's the best way for the people listening to connect with you?
Probably on Instagram and Facebook are my two biggest ones. I tried the Snapchat and stuff, but I didn't get too into that. So Instagram is at Daudt413. I don't know, my name is kind of hard to spell. It's Daudt. And then on Facebook, you can connect at just Evan Daudt or at Daudt Racing. So
perfect.
And you'll find everything you need to know about me.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time today. I had a blast. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Heydays. I will be there with my brother. He went with me last year too. And if things go as planned, we're going to do a little bit of podcasting. We've got some space in the MBRP booth this year. We're going to hang out with those guys, with Jared Heschke over there. And I'm going to try to poke and prod people, do some interviews. I'm hoping my brother and I, we actually did, last Heydays, we did an episode together, and that was the first time he'd ever been on the show. And this would be the second time he's been on the show. So we're just going to kind of riff it and take account of the day. But yeah, I'll be over there trying to get some interviews. I'll be like, man, where's Evan at? I want Evan's interview. Like, give me that. Give me that. I want that autograph. I want that autograph. Like,
yeah.
I want it. I might even have it. I might have met. Were you there last year?
Where? Heydays?
Yeah.
Dude, I've been there for as long as I can remember.
Oh man, I bet you I got your autograph on I got a poster for the Polaris line.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I went through that. I mean, there's a lot going on. It's hard to talk to everybody, but I bet you I met you there. I probably threw out a business card or something. I threw it in your face probably.
I brought it on your forehead or something.
Exactly.
But
or
if I didn't last time, I will this time.
Right. Good deal, man. Well, hey, this is a lot of fun, and you take care.
All right, thanks for having me on, Josh.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, which is powered by 4-Wheel Parts. I want you to make sure that you are subscribed to this show, whether it's on iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss upcoming guests and upcoming episodes. And then follow us on social media. We're on all of the platforms. You can find out the most content, though, on our Facebook page. That's where we do our live videos. To get some insider access to upcoming guests, you can also check out the Sponsored Rider Club on Facebook. It is a support network where you can ask questions about best practices and get feedback from our audience. A special thanks goes out to our sponsors, 4-Wheel Parts, AMSOIL, SolderWeld, Bold Racing, TopThePodium.com, and Crash Addict Industries. And I also want to shout out some of our other partners, MBRP, HMK USA, Sudboy Traction, and High Octane Coffee. I look forward to serving you again next week. Until then, have fun and ride safe.